Well, colleagues, welcome back to English 1301. We continue in topic 2 to develop a video on lesson 2, planning and writing your paragraph. Now, I hate to disappoint you with this video, but it's a little longer than the lesson 1. Lesson 1 shared the philosophy that a paper has 5 components, an introductory paragraph, 3 topic paragraphs, and then a concluding paragraph. Now we're going to actually begin the process of actually writing a paragraph, which is a little bit more extensive. Just as a paper has a framework, a paragraph has a framework. And the paragraph framework is a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. The topic sentence introduces the paragraph, the supporting sentence describes the topic, and the conclusion closes the paragraph. Describing the topic is where we talk about brainstorming some subtopics. With your paper, when you have an introductory paragraph, you come in and you write it, and it introduces the topic and shares a couple ideas. Then you go into your supporting paragraphs. Well, just as you do that with a paper, a paragraph has a topic sentence, an introductory sentence. It has supporting sentences, and then it has a conclusion. We will talk about these a little bit more as we develop this concept. Now, we're going to start with writing a topic sentence. The first sentence of your paragraph needs to be the topic sentence. A topic sentence is an introductory line that addresses what the main idea or thesis of the paragraph will be. The topic sentence should contain the most significant and relevant point that you wish to make regarding your topic, thus summarizing the paragraph as a whole. The topic sentences for the opening paragraph includes the paper as a whole. We will begin with the opening paragraph. Now, what I'm saying here is, in each paragraph you have a topic sentence, an opening sentence. But a paper has an opening paragraph, and the first sentence of the opening paragraph not only introduces the paragraph, but introduces the paper. Now, an opening paragraph requires an opening sentence. Your opening sentence is the easiest topic sentence to understand. The opening sentence is intended to provide a starting point for the paper, introduce the paper topic, and more importantly, gain the reader's interest by promoting curiosity. Now, do you sense the power of developing an introductory or opening paragraph? Do you feel the fun? Well, it's powerful and it's fun to do that. I want to take a few minutes and ask you on a scale of 1 to 10 to rate each of these famous opening sentences. Now, I've got a number of them, but these were done by famous authors. As Gregor Samsa woke one morning from uneasy dreams, he found himself transformed into a giant insect. Now, does that get your attention? Does that make you want to read on a little bit further? That's out of Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Next sentence, there was a boy called Eustace Clarence Stubb, and he almost deserved it. The Voyage of Doane Treader by C.S. Lewis. How would you rate that sentence? Did it get your interest? Does it make you want to read on? It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. That's 1984 by George Orwell. Call me Ishmael. That's the opening sentence of Moby Dick by Herman Melville. So look at these 4 sentences and think about it. Do they get your interest? Do they arouse your curiosity? Do they start off the topic? That's what's important. This is the saddest story I have ever heard, The Good Soldier by Ford Madox Ford. The moment one learns English, complication sets in, Chromos by Philippe Alfta. Once upon a time, there was a woman who discovered she had turned into the wrong person, Back When We Were Grown-Ups by Ann Tyler. In the middle of the summer of 1891, the most extraordinary things began happening in a small Norwegian coastal town. Mysteries by Knut Hamsun. So you see that now. I want you to consider these opening sentences. This is one of my very favorite stories. You'll recognize it immediately as The Christmas Carol. And start, Marley was dead to begin with. There was no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. Now, when you read that, Marley was dead to begin with. You want to read on? Has it got your attention? Well, the story is a small story, but it's written with such power that it's become a worldwide classic. Now, I don't ask you to write a great masterpiece, but I don't preclude the fact that one of you may do that. Two of you may do that. All of you may do that. But writing is an art form, and when you have your paper design with an opening paragraph, 3 content paragraphs, and a closing paragraph, and a paragraph starts with an opening sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence, then the opening sentence of the opening paragraph is one of the most important sentences in a paper. One of the ones that I didn't put in there was one I love by Faulkner. It says, Hogg Williams was drunk again. Well, that's a great opening sentence. I told a friend of mine who was writing his dissertation about the law that maybe he could write the legislature was drunk again. And then he discovered that it had already been used, so he couldn't do that. An opening sentence, the first opening sentence, the opening sentence of your opening paragraph is critical. Now, what I've done is developed some templates to help you get started. These are potential opening sentences. The only way to, would you rather have blank or blank? There are 2 types of people, blank and blank. Well, some people say there are 2 types of people, givers and takers. See, that could be a great opening sentences. The more you blank, the easier blank gets. The more you write, the easier writing gets. The more you practice, the easier music gets. Do you think you understand how to blank? I always told myself that blank. These are, here you have 6 potential opening sentences. Let's go on and look at some more. 5 years ago, I blank. Blank is the perfect way to blank. Most blank are trying to blank and failing. That's pretty interesting. Most men are trying to, gain the attention of their wives and failing. I don't know, we can do anything like that. Most men are trying to be romantic and failing, okay? Mastering blank is not just about blank, but also blank. It is shocking how many people blank. I decided to blank, and it was the best decision I ever made. I decided to pursue my education, and it was the best decision I ever made. That's a good introductory sentence. If I were to ask you blank, what would you say? When it comes to blank, there's only one right answer. Most people think you need blank when you actually need blank. After struggling to blank for years, I finally realized that everything I thought about blank was wrong. Unlike most people, I didn't plan to blank. Unlike most people, I didn't plan to go to school or to pursue an education. If I want to blank, you first have to blank. Unlike most people, I didn't plan to have a doctorate degree. I got started. I loved education. I fell in love with it. I got my bachelor's. Then I got my master's. And then I decided some years later, well, maybe I ought to go get a doctorate. See, you can write a paper about something like that. If you want to blank, you first have to blank. If you want to succeed, you first have to put forth the effort. A blank once told me blank. If you have blank, you know that blank. The best thing about blank is that you blank too. You see, these are templates for opening sentences. Let's look at a few more. There are so many reasons you should blank. There are so many reasons you should pursue the creative arts. See, that's a good sentence. Last year, I blank, and I did everything wrong. Last year, I went to Europe, and I did everything wrong. I put us on an MSC cruise, and we were in a typhoon, and didn't get to go to the ports we were supposed to because the water was too rough, and then I got COVID. It was kind of interesting. And they moved us out of our suite into the lockdown unit. It is easy to blank, but did you ever think about blank? I'm deathly afraid of blank. I am deathly afraid of grizzly black spiders. Spiders are everywhere. Okay, I know what it is like to blank. As I blank, it is easy to become blank. As I grow older, it is easier to become more compassionate. As I grow older, it is easy to fall in love with my grandchildren. You know, I love my grandchildren so much, I don't know why I didn't have them first before I had the kids. Are you afraid to blank? I do not care about blank. See, these are templates. These are opening sentences, things to kick you off and get you started. Just as a paper has a framework, a paragraph has a framework. You choose a topic sentence, and that topic sentence garners the reader's interest and curiosity, and it kicks off the concept. It starts the flow. Then once you have a topic sentence in that paragraph, you have some supporting sentences. These describe the topic, and then you have a closing paragraph or conclusion to the concluding sentence, which closes the paragraph. A topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. Once you're happy with your topic sentence, you can start to fill in the rest of your paragraph. Well, guys, it goes without saying that in order to finish, you have to get started. In order to write a paragraph, you have to have a topic sentence, a starting sentence, and your starting sentence lays out the detail of what you're doing. And once you get started, then you can proceed. And when you start writing the rest of your paragraph, this is where the detailed, well-structured notes you wrote earlier will come in handy. Make sure that your paragraph is coherent, which means that it is easy to read and understand, that each sentence connects with the next, and that everything flows nicely as a whole. To achieve these goals, try to write clear, simple sentences that express exactly what you want to say. We will practice writing with clarity. We don't have to have a sentence that's a mile long to say something. We can say just as much with a simple sentence. And let me illustrate to you growing up. Did you ever do something wrong when you were a child and somebody gave you a whole paragraph of sentences? But your mother gave you the look. And when you got the look, the message was communicated. To my delight, I found out later on when I got married, and I've been married almost 45 years, the wife can give you the look and communicate an idea very quickly. I laugh sometimes. We went to China, and I love shopping. I love buying jewelry. Man, I'm a jewelry addict, so I'm messing around, looking at pearls, looking at jewelry, all these things. And I found out I'd asked Sharon, do you like this? And the minute she said yes, they would not negotiate. You know, you have to barter the price. You have to go up and down. You have to debate. You have to argue to get the right price. So instead of going into this lengthy communication about whether she liked it or not, we had a code. She walked into where the jewelry was laid out. She put her hand up and just tapped the one that she liked and then walked out. And that left me to be able to negotiate the price and get them to come down. Supporting sentences are the meat of your paragraph. You have an opening sentence, it kicks off, it garners interest, but then the supporting sentences, you fill them in to give information about the topic. I thought it was wonderful going to Europe, but I got everything wrong. One of the things I learned is that you're careful about where you plan to go. You select the right cruise. You look at the weather. Okay, so forth and so on. 7 out of 10 people that were on that cruise ship had seasickness because of the typhoon. And then some of us caught COVID. Anyway, anything goes as long as it's relevant. You write your introductory sentence, you write your supporting sentences, and it's okay, long as it is relevant, long as it conveys the idea that you want to convey. You can link each sentence with transition words that form a bridge between one sentence and the next. Transition words can help you compare and contrast, show sequence, show cause and effect, highlight important ideas, and progress smoothly from one idea to the next. How long should a paragraph be? Well, long enough. How long should a paragraph be? Not too long. How long should a paragraph be? Well, pretend you're Goldilocks in the story of the 3 bears and that your paragraph is just right. When you look at a paragraph, a lot of times 3 to 5 sentences will usually be enough to cover your main point and adequately support your topic sentence. But this is going to vary depending on the topic that you're working on and the length of the paper that you're writing. One thing you want to do is recognize that while there is no set length for a paragraph, you don't want your paragraph to run on and 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 on over about 2 pages of writing. The paragraph should only be as long as it needs to be to adequately cover the main idea. Now, just as a paper has a framework, a paragraph has a framework. Let's remember this. A topic sentence, it introduces the paragraph. Supporting sentences describe the topic. But you also must have a conclusion. You must close the paragraph. That's the concluding sentence. The concluding sentence of your paragraph should tie everything together. A good concluding sentence will reinforce the idea outlined in your topic sentence, but now it has the combined weight of the evidence or arguments contained in your supporting sentences preceding it. After reading the concluding sentence, the reader should have no doubt as to the accuracy or relevancy of the paragraph as a whole. Now, I'm going to give you a sample concluding sentence. Now, to write a concluding sentence, don't just reword your topic sentence. Your concluding sentence should acknowledge the discussion that has come before it and remind your reader of the relevance of this discussion. For example, we have a paragraph dealing with the topic, why is Canada a great place to live? And it might have the following concluding sentence. From all the evidence provided above, we can conclude that Canada is indeed a great place to live. Okay? You might have an opening sentence. Have you ever visited Canada? Have you ever taken a vacation in Canada? I went to Canada and loved it. My family and I just got back from a vacation in Canada. Good opening sentence. Then the concluding sentence, from all the evidence provided above, we can conclude that Canada is indeed a great place to live. So you have an opening sentence, you have a concluding sentence, and you just need to fill in the middle. Concluding your paragraph. If you want a paragraph to be effective, you need to conclude it properly. You have to end. You have to start, you have to end. A closing sentence to your paragraph is as imperative as a conclusion to an essay or research paper. Well, if you're writing a paper, you have to have a beginning and an ending. So in a paragraph, you have to have a beginning and an ending. To effectively conclude a supporting paragraph, review what you've said in the paragraph and draft your closing statement. Just as a paper has a framework, a paragraph has a framework, a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a conclusion. Considering the following paragraph. Now, this is just a paragraph. Knowing how to write a paragraph is incredibly important. It is a basic aspect of writing, and it is something that everyone should know how to do. There is a specific structure that you must follow when you're writing a paragraph. This structure helps make it easier for the reader to understand what is going on. Through writing good paragraphs, a person can communicate a lot better through their writing. Now, what is the opening sentence? Well, that's knowing how to write a paragraph is incredibly important. Well, does it work for you? Well, it's okay. I mean, that's not my weekend reading list, but hey, it's okay. It got my attention. What are the supporting sentences? The things, it is a basic aspect of writing. There are specific structures. This structure helps make it easier. Okay, we got that. They work for me too. What is the concluding sentence? Through writing in good paragraphs, a person can communicate a lot better through their writing, and it works for me. The following is a descriptive paragraph. I want you to listen to this. Sunset is the time of day when our sky meets the outer space solar winds. There are blue, pink, and purple swirls spinning and twisting like clouds of balloons caught in a whirlwind. The sun moves slowly to hide behind the line of horizon while the moon races to take its place in prominence atop the night sky. People slow to a crawl, entranced, fully forgetting the deeds that must still be done. There is a coolness, a calmness when the sun does set. It's the opening sentence. Easy to identify. First sentence, get your attention. The middle sentences, the supporting sentences, run all the way down the paragraph. The concluding sentence, there is a coolness, a calmness when the sun does set. Now, this is a descriptive paragraph. Here's an informative paragraph. And let's read the opening sentence. On July the 16th, 1969, the Apollo 11 spacecraft launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Okay, got our attention. Started out. That's telling us, that's laying the groundwork for what's going to happen. With the COVID pandemic, someone might say the COVID pandemic has devastated higher education across the globe. Good opening sentence, gets our attention. Now look at all of those sentences that give the meat. Its mission was to go where no human being had gone before, the moon. I remember the Apollo flights. In 1969, July the 16th, I was 12 years old. I was born in 56, but born in December. I remember seeing them on TV. I remember them setting foot on the moon. We sat in the living room in hushed anticipation and waited for them to set foot on the moon. I remember the people that were our friends that said it really didn't happen. They didn't believe it. Okay, so on and so forth. But you start with an opening sentence. You have the content sentences, and then you have a concluding sentence. The space flight was a monumental moment in human history, and indeed it was. It was indeed one small step for man, but one giant leap for mankind. You can identify the parts. Now, I don't want you to panic. You've got this. It's just a process to be artistically developed and followed. Now, there are things you do that are just rote memory. Writing is not one of them. Writing is an art form, and you must develop your artistic creativity as you write. I love that sentence. My name is Ishmael. Good opening sentence. I don't know if it'd help to say my name is Rusty. Okay? Might open a paragraph with that. The COVID pandemic has devastated higher education across the globe. Good opening sentence. Developing the opening sentence to a paper and the opening sentence to your opening paragraph is critical. It is probably one of the easiest that you have to follow. I point out to you that some of those templates I gave you make it much easier. I don't want you to panic because you in fact have this. It's not that hard. Don't panic. You've got it. You can do it. It's done one sentence at a time, but you have to understand the paper is 5 paragraphs. The paragraph has 3 pieces: an introduction, the supporting sentences, and the concluding sentence. So you're going to write 5 of those, and voila, you've got a paper. Pretty cool, isn't it? See you in the next video.